Most times you come down here, this waterhole is dry. But certainly not the case this time. Be interesting to see if there's any dogs have been around here. Only fella pig. Landy pig. Watch out for them snapping handbags, mate. Yeah, plenty of pigs, but no dog tracks at all. Well, we'll go up to the next. It's actually a good spot up here, good sort of crossing, a rock crossing, where a power line goes through the property, and it goes back up into a big steep range. And I've seen a lot of animals, a lot of dogs there in the past. So, come on dogs, let's go up here. Another great pig spot here. I reckon it's got to be a hog here somewhere. Plenty of sign, plenty of diggings. It's all pig diggings there. Up here. Pig wallows. Great place for a dog. Come on, back on the game, mate. Skunk, come. Good boy. Come on. This is a really good little spot here with the water. There's plenty of tracks down the bottom of the creek here. The power line goes through. So the big cut comes back over the range here on a track. And we've got a track coming out of the main creek system over here. So it's like a three-way junction. Plenty of sign here. Good little spot here under these trees. So I'm going to set probably 3 traps here and give it a couple of nights and we'll see what happens. Got one there, base of the tree. Simple set again. Just got some high bitch's urine up there. Only there's a little bit of rag there from the last time I was here, probably 12 months ago. I think I caught a bitch on this set here. For a little bit of leaf to one side, a little bit of leaf on the other, stepping stick and a step through path there. Traps just in the middle there. It just needs a bit of time to weather, and using a little bit of scat at the base of the tree. Idea being, the dog smells a long distance scent, comes over to investigate, goes to check out the scat and gets directed, put the foot there. This is a good little spot here. I've walked across here now. I've walked right on the car track, so when I drive through, I'll wipe my tracks out. There's been 2 dogs, I think, through here. So I've set one set here on this bit of fallen bull oak tree. I've just put a little dig hole and put a little bit of urine rag in the bottom of it, something just like a visual and a scent attractant. And then just put the trap in this side of that little stick on a good little pass-through area. Hopefully get the dog to come through to sniff that, to walk through. I think what I'll do then is I'll put another one over here, where I've got my mat laid out there now. I'll put on that little tree, and if we've got a pair of dogs coming down here, it's a good chance to get them both. And one of the reasons why I like to drive right over the top of my tracks, my boot tracks, or over the top of any dog sign I see when I go through a crossing, is that then you actually can date and age what you then see from then on. Because if you see tracks, obviously, over the top of the drag mark, well, then you've got a set date when you did that drag, and get basically an idea of when that animal came across your sign. And if you keep doing that day after day, then you can wipe out the previous night tracks as you go. And a lot of people say you should have trail cameras there, check your trail cameras or whatever. Okay, for me, it's too slow. I want to come into a place like this and just look at it and read it. Read the sign. Read the other animals that have been through there. You can see the wallabies, you can see the goanna, you can see the lizard. just by their tracks. So by doing this, by even dragging an old hide, if you've got an old green hide, a cow hide or a deer hide, drag it through, get the dogs interested in the track that you're working on, get them to want to follow you, get them to want to come out and look what you've been doing every night. That gets the dogs where you can get at them, and it gives you an age of what you're doing. Dogs on this tree before, mate, haven't we? Hey? Show you where. Skunk. Skunk. Hunt him up. Yep, their favourite tree. There he goes again. Look at him. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, we'll get another one there, won't we? Yep, up, 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 up. We've trapped here probably, I think 3 times before. And each time I come down into this crossing here, Skunk has done the same thing. He's straight over there, sniffs around, and he sniffs that tree up, marks on that. We put a trap there, we get a dog there. Let's see if we can do it again. I think I'll put probably a long distance call there, then something at the base of the tree. And then I think I'll put another trap on the opposite side as well. So if we get one, probably pick its mate up as well. When I was in the US a few years ago, I got given a bottle of elk fire. And I got back here, well, we don't have any elk in the country. We've got red deer. And I never got around to using it. It just got put in the back cupboard. Well, anyway, I found it the other day. So what I'm going to do is try it here. This is just a straight blind set. There's just a sandbank, nothing special about it. But I'm going to put just a little bit of wood or something here, put a little spray of this on it. And let's see if I've got a dog that'll come and even have a sniff at it. We might find the nearest boar pig might come in, but I think I've got a dog calling now. I'll get up here and I'll give a little bit of a howl and see what happens. Sit. Sit. Well, I really don't have any clue what that just was. I was setting those traps and I heard this noise up ahead of us in my wind. So this, whatever it was, had my wind. I grabbed the 22, went straight up, and I howled at it like a dog. I went, woo, like this. Couple of different sort of notes after the howl. Oh, that's a strange dog call. Anyway, it went around us. It went around below us, sort of away from the wind, and came around sort of, right in behind us, I suppose, behind where I was working. Anyway, I give it another couple of howls, got the 22, took the dogs back past where the traps were, had to make sure they didn't get caught. I came up on the other side and I howled again. Like a couple of noises, like half barks afterwards. And I thought, what type of dog are you? Anyway, then I got a look at it, not much. You could just see the back line and the tail seemed to be up and over its back at one stage, but it was different. It wasn't like a cat's tail. I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was, I'd say, not as big as one of the border collies, but it was still fairly big. It wasn't calling out like a cat. I've never heard it before. Anyway, it went down and hit the wind where I'd driven through. And it like disappeared. I could just see the movement in the grass, in the long grass. So I put Brandon out. Skunk didn't want to go. Brandon put his hackles up and he went straight at this thing, wherever it was. And then he was bouncing, putting his hackles up. He come straight back to me. And then Skunk, he got the scent and he just went straight off down the gully. And he was gone for a few minutes and he come back and he had his hackles up. I couldn't see any tracks because it's all long grass. I really don't know. I honestly don't know what that was. Now, a couple of weeks have passed since I was up there trapping, and it really did, it intrigued me. What did I see there that day? It kept running through my mind, what I saw going through the grass. When I said that the tail was up over its back, I didn't mean sort of like a back line and then, tail up like that. What I saw was like a back line and a tail that came up, and then it sort of went up like that. And sort of like to me, it was like a tail like that, and then the grass line was like through here. And this thing was like a rigid tail. Anyway, I looked through, had my suspicions, and I think what we were looking at is what's known as, not the Tassie tiger, but the next best thing, the tiger quoll. Right? I think that's Dasyurus, if I remember right, maculatus, right? A beautiful creature. I've seen one other in my whole life, and I reckon that's what I had there. And thinking back on a couple of the creek beds I went into, I kept seeing cat tracks, and I said, that's a big cat. That's a big cat. I think it could have been this guy. So what I'll do from now on, I'll be very, very careful to trap in that area. Probably won't trap in it at all. Fantastic creature, the tiger quoll. Well, holy bloody hell. We've just come back on our tracks and we've got our first dog straight here. Straight here, half an hour. Well, that's how it rolls. First day, putting traps in, came through here and thought, gee, yeah, it's a good sign here. And we set one trap over here on the side of the bank, second one over here, and just put a little bit of scat, I think, on that one. And we got a big dog straight away, literally an hour after we put it in. Well done, team, well done. All right, good dog, front paw catch, and very easy set, basic set, and it worked. Now, how many people have commented saying, you got to wear gloves? You got to wear gloves because your scent's on everything, and they can smell you. You won't catch anything. That's classic. No gloves, just using soil to clean my hands and my dog scent on it. I was kneeling there, worked there, my smell, the smell, everything around it. And this dog would have been literally no more than half hour, I'd say, from when we set the trap to when it was caught. And it's a big, mature wild dog. Dingo's got a little bit of black through it. But big, strong dog. And he's come straight in there on top of all the scent that I left behind. There's a lot more to it than just wearing rubber gloves. I've been asked a few times what was my fastest catch I ever had, and I remember when I was working down on the coast on a project down there on a lot of small properties, a lot of 30 acre, 40 acre blocks. And I went into this one landowner's property and they said, look, just straight up behind the house, on this hill there's been, they've seen dogs there, so I went up there, set a few traps, sorry, and there's a few tracks there. And anyway, drove back down to the landowner's house, which would have taken me sort of 2 minutes, and drove out through the front gate, and only just got out, wasn't even out of sight of the house, and I got a phone call from the landowner, and they said something screaming. I said, where? And they said, back up on the hill. So I turned around, and I think it was 10 minutes from when I'd left the trap to when I got back to it, and I had a dog in the trap. It must have been sitting there watching me. This one would be pretty near the same. I think this one has been caught within half hour of setting that trap. So it shows it is possible that you can get a catch straight away.